Burning Question, powered by Sarah.
Political face-off over Siddaramaiya's son's viral video. Yatindra is seen dialing the chief minister and pulling up the OSD. The BJP hits out at the Siddaramaiya government in a scathing attack. They say transfer nexus being run by the Congress. Kumaraswamy lashes out, demands resignation of Siddaramaiya over the controversy linked to his son. Pakistan woman and son arrested in West Bengal for trying to illegally enter India via Nepal. It's been over 120 hours. Rescue operations continue on a war footing as at least 40 workers are still trapped in a tunnel in Uttarakhand.
Canadian politics has given space to violent and extreme political opinions which advocate separatism from India.
Jaishankar gives it back to Canada, asking Trudeau to show proof of the baseless allegation on Nijjar's killing. And it's open and official as Pakistan does China batting, terror backing Pak official front for China. Hello and a very good evening. The show's called The Burning Question and I'm Deepthi Sachdeva. A lot of you must be interested in cricket. We are looking at a huge game. But then this very weekend, remember, is going to see that huge face-off between political parties literally fighting to ensure that they save their prestige, they create a momentum in their favor in the run-up to the big battle of 2024. In fact, in hours from now, you will have the state of Madhya Pradesh going in for the voting on all seats, and Chhattisgarh phase 2 is also polling tomorrow. But ahead of that big battle, remember the binary has largely been between the Congress and the BJP. And this is for people who don't understand both these states very, very clearly. This is the Hindi heartland, but there are parties and smaller regional outfits who have the capability of ensuring that they spoil the chances for either a Congress or of the BJP. Now on your screens, we begin with the big battle in Chhattisgarh. Look at the key characters on your face. Now, there is the BJP, there is the Congress, but then there are also parties like the BSP, the Bahujan Samaj Party led by Mayawati, and the man that you see there on your screens, who might not seem very familiar, is the son of the late former and the first chief minister of the state of Chhattisgarh, Ajit Jogi. He's Amit Jogi. He's out right now, he's campaigning, and he says he's got to be the kingmaker. He says, koi bhi party mere bina agli Chhattisgarh mein sarkar nahi bana sakti. We'll talk of the numbers in just a moment. Let's also bring up key characters on the battle of the state of Madhya Pradesh now, because that again is a prestige battle for the BJP. The BJP has been ruling that state for over 18 years. 18 years. Minus about a 15-month period that belonged to Kamal Nath. But on your screens again, you will see leaders like Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party and again, Mayawati. Now, Mayawati, remember, has also done a tacit understanding with a tribal outfit and an Adivasi outfit right now there to ensure that she is able to capitalize on both the Dalit and the Adivasi vote bank. But then Akhilesh Yadav, you would also recall, has had that famous tiff with the Congress there. He wanted a seat sharing arrangement with the Congress. That did not happen. And then Kamal Nath famously said, Kaun Akhilesh? Akhilesh Vakhilesh. So you know all the battles there. We do understand what has happened so far. But even as you will be seeing these political parties putting out their best foot forward tomorrow in the next few hours, The question we are asking is that in the Indie heartland, will you have smaller regional outfits right now spoiling the game for the Congress and the BJP? Before we get in our panel of guests, this is a quick primer to help you understand why the story today is relevant.
In a few hours, the voting for Phase 2 polling is set to take place. While many are calling it a semi-final to 2024, the battle in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh is a major one. Congress stung by Mahadev's scam in Chhattisgarh.
हेमंता विश्व शर्मा शारदा चिट फंड में घोटाला में क्या उसको क्लीन चिट मिल गई? शुक्रिया वो अदा करें जिसके कारण से वो कार्रवाई नहीं के कारण से उसको मुख्यमंत्री बने। इनकी हिम्मत है कार्रवाई करें ना, हमने कहाँ रोका? हम तो जांच से कभी मना नहीं किया। जांच से ये भले गली गली घूमते रहे तब भी हमने कहा जांच करिए, लेकिन सही करिए।
जो छत्तीसगढ़ में महादेव सट्टेबाजी घोटाला हुआ है, उसमें 508 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के बटने के आरोप है।
And storm over allegations on Tomar's son.
मेरा एक सवाल है, क्योंकि आपके बेटे पर गंभीर आरोप लगाए गए, उसके लिए बीजेपी ने भी एक्शन लिया है, लेकिन ये आरोप हैं, इनकी सच्चाई क्या है, इनके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे जनता से?
नहीं, उस मामले में जब वो चीज प्रकाश में आई तो उसका पुलिस में कार्रवाई कर दी गई है। अब वो आगे कानून अपना काम करेगा।
The stakes are high for both BJP and Congress.
फेज 2 में जो अभी मैंने बस्तर और सरगुजा के दौरे किए और मैदान में मैं बिलासपुर और इन क्षेत्रों में गया, तो ऐसा लगता है कि ज़बरदस्त अंडर करंट मैदानी इलाके में भी है और सरगुजा में भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बढ़त आगे है। तो अब लगता है कि ये द्वितीय चरण के मतदान के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी स्पष्ट बहुमत के साथ छत्तीसगढ़ में सरकार बनाने की स्थिति में है।
BJP in Madhya Pradesh and Congress in Chhattisgarh look to defeat anti-incumbency. And while both BJP and Congress remain the main contenders in these two states, will the Modi magic be a big factor? And can the small parties play any decisive role? Let's debate.
And remember, the primer essentially has just given you an introduction of the binary between the BJP and the Congress. But like I said, the battle is, ladies and gentlemen, not just limited to these two political parties. And there is a reason why earlier today, Mayawati takes on the social media and she calls out the Congress. She says कि Congress इस समय भ्रम की स्थिति पैदा करना चाहती है, and she's also said कि मैं अपने सब वोटर्स को चेताती हूँ कि आप कांग्रेस की इन पूरी गेम से अवगत रहें और उस झांसे में ना फंसें. And that really tells you why a lot is at stake for players like Akhilesh Yadav, for the BSP there. And like I said, there are a lot of regional outfits also that are contesting these elections, and that could act as a spoiler. Let's quickly say good evening to our panel of guests joining us. I do see Siddharth Yadav, the national spokesperson of the BJP, is with us right now. We also have Pankaj Sharma ji, who's a senior journalist. He does lean towards the Congress. And we also have Abbas Haider with us, who's a national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And we have Bhagwanu Nayak, the spokesperson of the Janta Congress Chhattisgarh, and Kush Ambedkar, who leans towards the BSP. And he's also a political analyst with us on the panel right now. I'm told Bhagwanu Nayak will just join us in a moment. So let's begin with asking Pankaj Sharma ji first up. Why Mayawati is so angry at the Congress, Pankaj ji? And she's making it very clear that the Congress is fighting the BSP more than the Congress is fighting the BJP right now.
Congress is not fighting BSP more than the BJP. See, Mayawati ji's attitude towards India alliance has been dubious since beginning. But BSP, SP, Aam Aadmi Party, all these outfits have no major presence in Madhya Pradesh. Let me tell you, there are 47 reserved seats for tribals in Madhya Pradesh. Last time, Congress won 31 out of these 47 seats. Apart from these 47 seats, there are 40 other seats where tribal vote is very important. So out of 230, there are 87 seats, 87 tribal seats. And for tribal voters, I mean for tribal population, this time Congress has given so many promises in its manifesto. See, three main promises are...
No, but you know,
One-
Pankaj ji, what we'll do is we'll keep the introductory comments brief, because this is essentially, you know, a big picture story. There is a reason why Mayawati is also pointing fingers at the Congress, and Akhilesh Yadav has also pointed fingers at the Congress. He said the Congress cannot be trusted, Abbas. Am I right? Now, Pankaj ji says that both the SP and the BSP are no players in both Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So he's saying कि आप तो फालतू में यहाँ पर खेल खराब करने के लिए आ गए हैं बस.
Aditi ji, I respect Pankaj ji's opinion, but let me tell you some fact. In last election, that is 2018, Congress, the difference of vote between the Congress and the BJP was 0.13%. And Samajwadi Party even then got 1.3% of vote in Madhya Pradesh. And let me tell you, Congress was short of one MLA in Vidhan Sabha to make the government. And Samajwadi Party was the one which extended their support, and the Congress Party make the government. And now, it remind me of our Urdu couplet. You are a very seasoned journalist. You know it well, that the grand old party, why this is doing so. The couplet is Suraj lahu luhan har ek sham dekh le, ek shakhs tu gurur ka anjam dekh le. So it is just the arrogance of Congress Party, the reason why Congress Party stands here. And let me tell you, if you talk about Madhya Pradesh or any particular state, Congress Party's only agenda is not to work for the democracy of this country, not to work for the interest of this country, but for their own selfish interest. And I think this is not acceptable.
You know, Abbas, you've used the word arrogance, you've used the word selfish, but you're still okay doing business with the INDA alliance, and you're still willing to listen to the Congress. I don't know how that story will play out. I'm sure Siddharth will want to respond to that quickly. But before Siddharth does that, let's also get in Kush Ambedkar. He's a political analyst. He leans towards the BSP. Now, Kush, मुझे एक बात बताइए ना. बहन जी इस समय ना INDI के साथ है ना NDA के साथ है. लेकिन माहौल इस तरह का बन गया है कि बहन जी इस समय बीजेपी की बी टीम है. वो कांग्रेस पे कटाक्ष करती है, कांग्रेस पे सवाल करती है, लेकिन भाजपा को लेकर खामोश हो जाती हैं. कुछ
नहीं, बीजेपी के ऊपर बहन जी के लगातार स्टेटमेंट आते रहते हैं. बस ये मीडिया की समस्या है कि मीडिया उनको दिखाता नहीं है. अभी मध्य प्रदेश में जो कांग्रेस ने एक भ्रम की स्थिति पैदा की है, पुराना वीडियो चलाकर, ये इसलिए की है मध्य प्रदेश में.
नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं कुछ, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस ने इस वीडियो को वायरल किया है. आप आरोप ये लगा रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस ने ये फर्जी वीडियो बनाया है बहन जी का.
मध्य प्रदेश में नुकसान हो रहा है. अभी मुरैना में आप चले जाइए, सागर की जो सीट है वहां पर बीएसपी की जो रैलियां हुई है उसमें बहुत भीड़ आई है. उसको देखकर कांग्रेस घबरा गई है. कांग्रेस को ये लग रहा है,
लेकिन
यदि बीएसपी ने
राहुल गांधी तो कहते हैं कि मध्य प्रदेश में कांग्रेस का तूफान आ रहा है. राहुल गांधी कहते हैं कि मध्य प्रदेश में कांग्रेस का तूफान आ रहा है, और आपके पास क्या सबूत है कि कांग्रेस ये वीडियो वायरल कर रही है?
कांग्रेस ने यूपी चुनाव में भी कांग्रेस ने किया था. कांग्रेस के जो स्पोक पर्सन है, जो उत्तर प्रदेश से है, राजपूत जिनका नाम है, उन्होंने डाला था. उस वक्त तो समाजवादी पार्टी भी इस वीडियो को बहुत ज्यादा खेल रही थी. क्यों? क्योंकि बीएसपी को बीजेपी की बी टीम बता के किसी ना किसी तरीके से दलितों की पार्टी को खत्म करना है, क्योंकि ये नहीं चाहते कि दलित की कोई लीडरशिप बचे. और मध्य प्रदेश में यदि इन्हें इतना ही राहुल गांधी को अश्योरिटी है कि भाई हम चुनाव जीत रहे हैं, तो इस तरीके का प्रोपेगेंडा नहीं करते. आप छतरपुर में देख लीजिए, जो भी सीमावर्ती एरिया है,
को लेकर आप कुछ क्या कहेंगे? आपसे तीसरा सवाल पूछ रही हूँ ताकि उसके बाद हम सिद्धार्थ के पास चले. देखिए, भाजपा भी ये कहती है और वो ये दावा करती है, और फिगर्स भी ये बताते हैं कि उत्तर प्रदेश में आखिरकार बहुत सारा आपका वोट बैंक भाजपा ले गई है. तो आपको तो भाजपा से भी डरना चाहिए ना.
यही तो गलत फहमी है. यही तो गलत फहमी. इसके ऊपर तो बाकायदा फैक्ट चेक होना चाहिए. जो दलितों का वोट 12% यदि दलितों का वोट बीजेपी पे चला गया तो मुझे ये बताइए 12% जो वोट मिला बीएसपी को वो किसका मिला? ब्राह्मणों का मिला या मुस्लिमों का मिला? किसका मिला 12%? बीएसपी के पास अपना 12% ज्यों का त्यों रहा। हाँ, जो पिछड़ा समाज का वोट था और जो मुस्लिम समाज का वोट था वो नहीं मिला। दलित वोट ज्यों का त्यों बीएसपी के पास है। या फिर आप बता दीजिए वो 12% वोट जो बीएसपी को मिला वो किसका मिला? कोई मंगल ग्रह से तो आगे किसी ने डाला नहीं है वोट को।
ठीक है, सिद्धार्थ को लाते
तो
हैं।
ये भ्रम फैलाया जाता है कि उस तरह
आपको
वोट
आंकड़े
चला
शायद
गया।
पता नहीं है, मैं आपको उत्तर प्रदेश के आंकड़े बताती हूँ, लेकिन रुकिएगा। लेट्स गेट सिद्धार्थ हियर एंड लेट्स फोकस आल्सो ऑन मध्य प्रदेश एंड छत्तीसगढ़। नाउ Siddharth, do you believe the BSP, the SP are important players in the battle that is taking place in both the states, or you believe it's a direct contest just between the Congress and the BJP? Siddharth.
Deepti, first of all, I think what is important to point out today is that in the introductory remarks by all the three fellow panelists, we had nothing to do with it. BJP has nothing to do with it. And this is the reality of the entire India alliance. This is the reality of entire regional parties and how the politics is playing out there. Now, Samajwadi Party thinks that Congress is selfish. They think they are arrogant. Akhilesh Yadav even goes out and says, "Inke chirkut neta hai," but still they want to be
guest? I also need him.
And still they want to be in that partnership, for 2024 assembly. The BSP thinks that they don't want, Congress doesn't want a Dalit leadership to come out. They want the Dalits to be suppressed. We are not saying all of this. So the reality of Congress is highlighted by their own partners, and that actually is the reality. All the three of my fellow panelists, they did not speak about the issues of Madhya Pradesh, the issues of Chhattisgarh, what the voters want to vote for. All they're concerned about is my Dalit vote bank, my 12% vote, my Muslim vote bank. The country is past that. The country now wants to question how the Mahadev app has given 508 crores to Bhupesh Baghel. How has the diversity of corruption in Chhattisgarh gone to a level that no sector is left where Chhattisgarh has not been corrupt? How the voters of Rajasthan...
On to that before Abbas and Kush come back again. Siddharth, you believe Mahadev app is going to be a big issue in the state of Chhattisgarh. You're not talking about the anti-incumbency against Shivraj Singh Chauhan. You're not mentioning the fact that, you had to field MPs, you had to field union ministers. And this also, many say, betrays the nervousness of the BJP. But Pankaj ji, ये भी तो बताइए, महादेव ऐप को लेकर इतनी चर्चा हो रही है कि more than 500 crores, that is the allegation that has gone in for Bhupesh Baghel. Pankaj ji, do you believe corruption is an issue or not, sir?
See, corruption is an issue. If Mahadev app is an issue, then Narendra Singh Tomar's son's video is also an issue. So when corruption is an issue there and corruption is an issue here, so corruption actually is null and void now. As far as Mahadev app is concerned,
it's null and void.
Whenever there'll be a real inquiry in Mahadev app scandal, then I'm telling you, most of the BJP leaders will also be in trouble, because it's not that investigating agencies don't know who are the people sitting in Dubai and at every other place in the world are running the Satta show in India. So if there will be a impartial inquiry, then a Pandora box will be opened. That is why there are only talks on Mahadev app. Why the government is not taking any action against it? Government should take action against Mahadev app also. Narendra Singh Tomar's son,
what action are you talking about? You are jumping because we are doing action.
Siddharth, you want to respond to that viral video? Siddharth, you want to respond to that viral video? Because, if you are making allegations, they also put in allegations. The BJP has not responded.
Deepti, this is the reality for these elections and the politics for this country. The Congress wants all corruption issues to be null and void. They say it's null and void. That is why they want to come out with a viral video of someone's son, an unauthenticated video of what is there to hide the corruption of Mahadev app. We were not investigating Mahadev app. You were. Your police was. Your police, Chhattisgarh police was investigating it for 1.5 years.
But Pankaj is saying that even the Enforcement Directorate allegations right now have not established a money trail, Siddharth. So, I don't know whether this is null and void, but let's also get in both Abbas and Kush here. Now, Abbas, who's more corrupt? Is the BJP more corrupt or the Congress is more corrupt? And because you've already called the Congress arrogant and you've called them also mean. Who's more corrupt?
I think it would be unfair for Samajwadi Party to come out and compare who's more corrupt.
Let me speak, please. It's my turn, not yours. We
Yes,
have
Abbas.
actually responded to the specific questions which you have asked. And let's talk about Madhya Pradesh and Bharatiya Janata Party now. Because, the election in Madhya Pradesh is against Bharatiya Janata Party. People are angry with the anarchist government of Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh. In Madhya Pradesh, they want, as well as in Uttar Pradesh, I've not said it wrong, however. But let me tell you, people of Madhya Pradesh are voting for Samajwadi Party because they want 27% reservation for OBCs. They want 300 units of free electricity. They want
but Abbas, you are okay. You are okay with Kamal Nath, who's a chief ministerial aspirant in the state, saying, "Kaun Akhilesh Vakhilesh?" आपको उससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है?
I have told you via couplet, but let me assure you that Samajwadi Party will be at the fulcrum of power on the 3rd of December. Let me tell you. And it will be at an invisible position. And
will you be the kingmaker?
Certainly. We have seen thrice in this country, there have been independent MLAs who have become chief minister.
Okay.
This is history.
Okay, interesting. The moment I mentioned the kingmaker, even Kush wants to respond, but I have a guest, Bhagwanu Naik ji, who's the spokesperson of the Janata Congress Chhattisgarh, joining us. बहुत दिक्कत से उनका link मिला है, तो I'm requesting all my guests please to be patient with him, please. Bhagwanu ji, namaste and thank you for joining us on Republic, sir. मुझे ये बताइए कि अमित जोगी ये कहते हैं कि वो किंग मेकर बनेंगे, उनके बिना अगली छत्तीसगढ़ की सरकार नहीं बन सकती। लेकिन आपके लिए बड़ा दुश्मन कौन है सर, भाजपा या कांग्रेस?
देखिए दीप्ति जी, हमने कभी भी नहीं कहा कि छत्तीसगढ़ में हम किंग मेकर बनेंगे, बल्कि हम तो इस चुनाव में और छत्तीसगढ़ में जो हमारे राज्य के प्रथम मुख्यमंत्री स्वर्गीय अजीत जोगी जी जो पार्टी जो बनाई है, वो छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता को किंग बनाने के लिए बनाया है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी और कांग्रेस ने बीते 20 साल में छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता को जो लूटने का काम किया, ठगने का काम किया, छलने का काम किया और घोटालों पर घोटाले का जो रिकॉर्ड बनाया है, उसको कहीं ना कहीं रोकने के लिए और छत्तीसगढ़ियों को यहाँ कहीं ना कहीं उनको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, छत्तीसगढ़ राज्य को देश में सिरमौर बनाने के लिए, खुशहाल बनाने के लिए इस पार्टी का गठन किया गया है। और छत्तीसगढ़ एक ऐसी धरती है जहां पर खनिज संपदाओं की कमी नहीं है, यहाँ पर हीरा है, कोयला है, सोना है, बॉक्साइट है, लेकिन यहाँ के लोग गरीब है। हमारे माननीय अजीत जोगी जी कहा करते थे कि छत्तीसगढ़ अमीर धरती है, लेकिन यहाँ रहने वाले लोग गरीब है। तो इन दोनों दलों ने ठगने का काम किया, ऐसा कोई सगा नहीं जिसको भाजपा और कांग्रेस ने ठगा नहीं। तो छत्तीसगढ़ में अब छत्तीसगढ़ियों की अपनी खुद की पार्टी क्षेत्रीय दल बन गई है और हम इस
पहले मुख्यमंत्री थे अजीत जोगी कांग्रेस से, और आप कह रहे हैं कांग्रेस ने ठगा, आप कह रहे हैं कांग्रेस ने लूटा।
पंकज
उनका हक और अधिकार दिलाने का हम काम करेंगे।
मैं इन्हें ये याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ,
ठीक है, पंकज वांट्स टू रिस्पॉन्ड क्विकली।
अजीत जोगी कांग्रेस के पहले मुख्यमंत्री थे नवगठित छत्तीसगढ़ के, और ये सज्जन कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस ने लूटा है, कांग्रेस ने जो है वो, आप पहले मुख्यमंत्री थे अजीत जोगी।
ये आपको क्या बता पंकज जी, ये बीते 5 साल की बात कर रहे हैं। भाजपा भी तो यही कहती है कि भूपेश बघेल के खिलाफ बहुत सारे ऐसे घोटाले हैं जो धीरे धीरे करके सामने आएंगे। हाँ भगवानू जी बताइए।
चाहूंगा, देखिए निश्चित रूप से जोगी जी कांग्रेस के लीडर थे, लेकिन जो राष्ट्रीय राजनीतिक दल है वो कभी भी क्षेत्रीय हितों का रक्षा नहीं कर सकती है। सेंट्रल में कैसे गवर्नमेंट बने, इन्हें छत्तीसगढ़ के लोगों का यहाँ स्थानीय मुद्दों की कोई इन्हें जानकारी नहीं होती है। कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ की जो संस्कार, यहाँ की जो संस्कृति है, उससे कहीं ना कहीं रूबरू नहीं है। और कहीं ना कहीं बीते 20 साल
नहीं, लेकिन भगवानू जी मुझे एक बात बताइए सर, एक बात बताइए। देखिए, भाजपा ये कहती है कि रमन सिंह के नेतृत्व में 15 साल उन्होंने सरकार चलाई, उसके बाद कांग्रेस की सरकार आती है वहां पर। अब आरोप आप पर ये लगता है और बहुत सारे ऑपोजिशन के लोग ये आरोप लगाते हैं कि आप भाजपा की बी टीम है, आप भूपेश बघेल का खेल खराब करने के लिए यहां पर मैदान में है और आप अपने बलबूते पे तो सरकार बना नहीं सकते, लेकिन भूपेश बघेल की सरकार बिगाड़ सकते हैं। क्या ये सही बात है?
बात तो मैं आपको मैं स्पष्ट कर दूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी कहती कि हम कांग्रेस की बी टीम है, बीजेपी कहती कि हम जो है कांग्रेस की बी टीम है। हम किसी की बी टीम नहीं, हम सी टीम है, हम छत्तीसगढ़ियों की टीम है और हम किसी का खेल खराब करने के लिए नहीं आए हैं, छत्तीसगढ़ियों का खेल को बनाने के लिए आए हैं। छत्तीसगढ़ियों का सी टीम है, छत्तीसगढ़ियों की टीम।
ठीक है, बढ़िया जवाब दिया है। अब कुछ आप कौन सी टीम है? परमाणु जी तो कहते हैं कि ना वो ए टीम है ना बी टीम है, वो सी टीम है। अब ये बताइए बहन जी कौन सी टीम है, किसकी टीम है बहन जी?
नहीं, बहन जी तो स्वतंत्र टीम है और मैं तो नहीं चाहता हूं कोई भी सी टीम हो किसी की। अखिलेश जी ने भी पहले कहा था कि हम कांग्रेस के बहुत अच्छे साथ हैं, लेकिन जब बाद में पता चला कि अखिलेश हो गए तो उन्होंने भी जाके बोलना पड़ा कि हमारा भी महामूर्ख बना दिया गया कांग्रेस वालों ने तो। और कांग्रेस और बीजेपी ये दोनों ऐसी पार्टी जिनके ऊपर महादेव जी का पूरा आशीर्वाद रहा है। जब अखिलेश यादव जी वहां प्रचार करने गए तो कुछ दिन पहले जो भीड़ उमड़ी, तो ये बता रहा था कि जो क्षेत्रीय पार्टियां उनको ना कांग्रेस पसंद करती है ना बीजेपी पसंद करती है, दो क्षेत्रीय पार्टियों को ओबीसी या दलित रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं। अभी बहन जी ने जैसे छतरपुर में, ग्वालियर में, भिंड, मुरैना, यहाँ पे 30 ऐसी सीटें हैं जहां पर बहुजन समाज पार्टी मजबूती से चुनाव लड़ रही है। 2018 में जहां 30,000 से ज्यादा वोट बीएसपी को मिला था। यदि
लेकिन कुछ एक बात बताइए ना, समय कम है, लेकिन हमारे व्यूअर्स ये जानना चाहेंगे कि अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो आप भाजपा सरकार का समर्थन करेंगे या कांग्रेस सरकार का समर्थन करेंगे?
आप राजस्थान का उदाहरण लीजिए, जब कांग्रेस को समर्थन की जरूरत पड़ी तो बहन जी ने बिना किसी शर्त के समर्थन दिया था राजस्थान में उनके विधायकों का। ठीक है, ये अलग बात है कि बाद में कांग्रेस ने उसी में पीठ में छुरा घोंप के उन्हीं को बाद में खरीद के अपनी पार्टी ज्वाइन करा ली। अभी जो कांग्रेस की जो अहंकार है, जो मध्य प्रदेश में
कांग्रेस अखिलेश यादव कहते हैं चालू पार्टी है, आपने कहा बैक स्टैबिंग करते हैं। सिद्धार्थ लास्ट वर्ड टू यू, ओनली 30 seconds. Siddharth, who's winning Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh?
Deepti, I think the question that you asked my friend from Bahujan Samaj Party is not going to be relevant on the 3rd of December because Bharatiya Janata Party is going to form full majority governments in all the states. We do not require any team B, any team C, any support. The people of Madhya Pradesh, people of Chhattisgarh, people of Rajasthan, Telangana, Mizoram are supporting the politics of development. They are supporting the agenda of development. They are supporting Adharaniya Narendra Modi ji. They are supporting the leadership that is going to take the state forward. That is it. And on the 3rd of December, the country is going to see how the people are going to choose for development, anti-caste divisiveness, anti-people, anti-corruption, and for
interesting times, Siddharth. Interesting times ahead. The BJP says we are confident, we are getting a majority. Rahul Gandhi says Congress ka tufan aa raha hai. Regional parties say do not ignore us at your own peril, and we will be the kingmaker come December the 3rd. Republic, your one-stop destination to have answers to everything that you need to know. We are watching the story closely. Thank you to all of you for joining us right now. Heading into a quick break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Powered by Sera. This is your space. Play it your way.
देखो यार, जिंदगी का कोई भरोसा नहीं, पता नहीं कब फोटो पे हार चढ़ जाए और फैमिली का फ्यूचर, बच्चों की पढ़ाई खतरे में पड़ जाए। तो आज ही पॉलिसी बाजार से 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कराओ, सिर्फ 525 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, released recently, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
सुबह की प्यारी सी धूप और खिलखिलाता आंगन, दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और प्यार से बनाए खाने की सुगंध। मैं सबके साथ हूँ, सबकी जुबान पर हूँ, सबके स्वाद में हूँ। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं।
MDH गरम मसाला, क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
कर निवेश खुद की हिम्मत में आसमां को धरती पे लाचे था।
जब भरोसे की हो बैकिंग तो निवेश का हर फैसला बन जाता है बुलंद। इसीलिए हम खड़े हैं हर निवेश के लिए, हर निवेशक के साथ। SBI Securities.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
केंट से पानी होता है 100% प्योर।
केंट आरओ प्योरिटी दिखाता भी है।
केंट देता है सबसे शुद्ध पानी।
वाह कालरा साहब, बड़ा हेल्दी शेल्दी चल रहा है।
डायबिटिक होना, सेहत का पूरा ख्याल रखना पड़ता है।
पर ये तो आधा है। डायबिटीज से इम्यूनिटी वीक हो जाती है, यानी बीमारियों का खतरा है। डाबर च्यवनप्राश शुगर फ्री है, ये आपकी इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाएगा, तभी तो होगा पूरा ख्याल। डाबर च्यवनप्राश, इम्यूनिटी अब शुगर फ्री।
Yeah, Ajay, look at your dad. Will we be the same at his age?
Absolutely yes, if we plan our future like him.
How?
My father had invested in LIC's Jeevan Akshay, which gives immediate and guaranteed annuity at regular intervals, that too for life.
Wow. But do we have to wait until his age?
Absolutely not. We recently invested in LIC's new Jeevan Shanti, which gives deferred annuity, which means regular income after some years.
I see.
LIC's annuity plans give 10 annuity options and flexibility in receiving regular income. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
Supreme's over 9,000 and more plumbing and drainage products and water tanks are made from high quality raw materials and innovative designs. Supreme Total Piping Solutions, with you for a lifetime.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
आशुतोष वर्मा, म्यूचुअल फंड्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट। अरे सर जी, म्यूचुअल फंड वाले खुद ही कहते रहते हैं डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट कर लो। सारे डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे तो आपका कौन पूछेगा? हम यहाँ क्यों बैठे, गड्डी सीखने के लिए? सर जी, म्यूचुअल फंड्स का भी सेम फंडा है। शुरुआत में किसी ना किसी को तो म्यूचुअल फंड्स की सारी जानकारी देनी होगी ना। मैंने भी शुरुआत करनी। आप भी मेरे तरह म्यूचुअल फंड्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर बन सकते हैं। जानिए कैसे mfdkarenshuru.com पर। तो करें शुरू।
Experience recrafted luxury with the BMW 6 Series Gran Turismo. Drive home your BMW at rupees 64,999 per month at a low interest rate of 6.99%.
टिप चाहिए, पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा और मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ? सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Pakistan Prime Minister completely embarrasses himself. Pakistan PM admits being puppet in Chinese hands. Pakistan-China puppet debating tonight at 10 p.m. Trending burning question, powered by Reva University and Century Ply Club Primes.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan. Ladies and gentlemen, a cash-strapped nation whose economy has nosedived. It was well known for enabling terror groups, but in their own delusional world, Pakistan doesn't fall to surprise anyone. In fact, the latest comes in from the caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar, while addressing a gathering in Islamabad, made a complete fool of himself. An uninformed Unaware, Anwar ul Haq went on to make an illogical statement to target India. Despite multiple reality checks, it proves that Pakistan still believes that India bashing is their ultimate solution. A man who's basically now hoping that the arms that he would be receiving from China would actually be their only way to perhaps help the nation stay afloat. Remember, when it comes to the CPEC, they are the biggest beneficiaries, and hoping that China, by calling China an all-weather friend, Anwar ul Haq is certainly hoping that in the current position where they've been isolated by the United States of America, when remember Kakar being in New York essentially said that he does not want to take any sides when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war and would rather stay away from the competition or the rivalry between the US and China, where he essentially calls both the nations are great powers and two great civilizations, and it does not want to really compete. But the reality is this: after all, there is an admission that has been made by Pakistan, the fact that they are nothing but a puppet in the hands of China. As far as BRI is concerned too, they're hoping that they would piggy bank, and perhaps by selling their assets to China, they would remain afloat. A nation who's in economic doldrums is certainly hoping that they would be in a position to perhaps survive with China supporting them. Tonight on the trending burning question, joining us would be Colonel Shailendra Singh, Raja Faisal and Faraz Saeed would be joining us from Pakistan. But before that, let's just play out that response coming in from Pakistan's caretaker Prime Minister. Listen.
India is, in my opinion, flirting with the Western Hemisphere, offering itself to be the lead player with its, of course, huge population base, who can play a lead role to contain Chinese rise. When this so-called containment policy initiated, probably somewhere in the mid-90s or early 90s, Chinese economy was 8th or 9th largest economy of the world. And by the time this containment policy got its shape and got its framework, be it in shape of AUKUS or other Quad Plus, whatever the frameworks are, they have reached second largest economy of the world. So the journey of that rising is continuing. And to thwart that is not happening. And probably it's just around the corner when the dragon would be the first largest economy of the world. And as I see it, that this so-called competition is not strategic, it's more or less economic. And if it is pure in nature and economic competition, then that competition is being turned into a triumph or on a winnable option by the other side. So what are the options? To turn it into a strategic competition, to turn it into a hot pursuit option or competition? I guess the answer is no. The answer is no for the global peace and stability. And there is no incentive in this conflict for the countries like ourselves. Pakistan do not incentivize conflict. On the other hand, we feel that in region, the players like India, they do incentivize this conflict, and they want to encourage the conflict because that's where they would benefit from attracting the technological transfer, the investment part, and other engagement with the Western Hemisphere. If there is no strategic competition between these two great powers in terms of United States and China, why there would be a preferential treatment with the Indian Union? People would quote that they have got huge population anyway. Well, Africans have a huge population as well. There is around 1.4 billion people residing on African continent.
Well, you've heard what the caretaker Prime Minister essentially has to say. A caretaker Prime Minister who perhaps would find it extremely difficult to even hold the general elections, and importantly is hoping that China would come up with all possible solution. Would that really be the case? Joining us on the broadcast tonight, Colonel Shailendra Singh, Raja Faisal, Faraz Saeed. Faraz Saeed, your Prime Minister has literally bowed before China. Ports which are up for sale, we're hoping that you will be out of the economic doldrums if you actually piggy bank on China. But the reality being completely different, and we all know what's really going to happen if you absolutely give it up to the Chinese. Let's not forget what really happened to Sri Lanka when they had to completely depend on China, and the reality is they had to go through a major crisis. Pakistan is staring at yet another crisis for us.
Shavan, thanks ever so much for inviting me in your show, and I really like today's topic because this is something we should have been talking since a long time, but of course you never had time before. But of course, when we talk about AUKUS and Quad, these two alliances, of course, I mean, one of these alliances is India is part of it, and it is important for India, but that too is a non-military alliance. So obviously, Prime Minister stated this, and I personally believe that at this hour, this is a non-military alliance, but in coming future, it might turn out to be one of the military alliances, key military alliances of the region. But when it comes to, whether it is deterring Pakistan and China or not, it is not about Pakistan or China. It is about all of the countries of the region. I'm talking about the Far East countries. I'm talking about the East China Sea. Whatever the countries there are, they are deterred from it as well because they see it as something that can actually escalate the conflicts. And eventually, if the conflicts are escalated, then it is, a regional loss, not only one country's loss, but a regional loss. Here, important thing is that you said that Pakistan piggybacks
but have you ever
on
wondered,
China.
But Raja, have you ever wondered how exactly is, now if you really look at the grouping, Raja, sorry to interfere here, but the reality is this. Let me just give you a quick reality check, what you are basically calling relevant, but the reality being this. Most of the groupings that you are basically referring to, Pakistan remains completely irrelevant. How exactly are you really hoping that you would be taken seriously when you're not even part of those very groupings?
Shavan, when we talk about the groupings, I mean, you might be relying on the Western powers that they will safeguard you. You might be relying on, Australians that they might safeguard you, or Japan, who itself claims that it is a fragile, in a fragile state of, security when it comes to strategically, because China is a might, and everyone knows that. And your country your own country accepts that it is a might. But when it comes to India's presence. I mean,
and
India
can I just
part of Quad,
can I just remind
India
you about
being,
your dependence? Can I just remind you in terms of
India,
it is by your admission. I am not saying this. I am not saying this in terms of your economic dependence. Your ports are now up for sale. Your ports are now up for sale. When it comes to the CPEC, you're heavily dependent on China right now. The kind of leverage that China exactly has, there would be a point in time, Raja, that everything would be in the name of the Chinese. You should actually sign up and actually give it up as a platter to the Chinese.
One liner thought is that India being obviously part of Quad and trying to align itself with the Western powers, it has actually alienated itself in the region, I must say. Because rest of the countries, of course, Pakistan, of course, China, and rest of the countries, they believe that India having good relations, good relation on the basis that it can, find its space in any sort of conflict against the regional countries, against the regional powers, it can actually alienate India itself. I mean, India is standing all alone with the Western powers in terms of, trying to, edge towards AUKUS and trying to be part of AUKUS, Quad, and trying to change a Quad into a military alliance. I think it is a sort of a time-ticking bomb for India itself. When it comes to China and Pakistan, I don't think that India would ever be ready and ever be willing to go for a two-front war with India and Pakistan at the same time, because if it does so, then of course there will be dire consequences for India. And if it believes that it will be waiting for the Western powers to come and safeguard them, that is not going to take place, because Pakistan is a country that has a huge, experience of having alliances with the Westerns and knowing the facts. I mean, we know when they come to safeguard you and when they don't. I mean, we very well know that. So India should be extra cautious about these things, Shavan.
To you and your country. Think about this while I bring in Colin Shailendra. I'll give you a little bit of time too. And Faraz, I'll come to you thereafter. Think about this. How exactly are you considering the Quad and the AUKUS as a threat? If you really look at the agenda of Quad and the ambitions that have been targeted by the nations part of Quad, that perhaps should not really scare the Pakistanis. I wonder why exactly would you be so very nervous with a grouping like that of the AUKUS and Quad if you simply go by the agenda of both such groupings, unless if you really talk about the Indo-Pacific, which seems to be the area, the very factor that keeps you on the tenterhooks. Colonel Shailendra, you've actually heard the kind of admission that has been made by the Chinese here. I would say that, for them, there is no realization of the fact that Sri Lanka had also gone through the same very situation. But perhaps, as far as Sri Lankans are concerned, Sri Lankans had that at the back of their mind, that you can't perhaps put all in one basket. That's the reason why that is the reason why they remained afloat. They came back, they sprung back. But for the Pakistanis, they make that huge mistake, and they're continuously doing that when it comes by simply tagging along with China and calling them their all-weather friend.
A fantastic question, I must tell you, and for the kind information of my brother Raja, you should not be worried for a war. Because if question asked, is Sri Lanka putting all eggs in one basket? Let me tell you that basket has to be very selective. That cannot be Chinese, because you know it. You don't have to deny it, because everybody knows it. Chinese is basically amounting to substandard of treatment given to Sri Lanka, given to Pakistan, given to the extent even trying to give it to Nepal. So you don't have to worry on that. And I heard you very nice. I don't know why this obsession with you, that whether Quad or AUKUS has got a military meaning or going to have a military meaning. I don't know why. We didn't think about it. We didn't propose about it. We have not said anything about it. I don't know how did you, as Pakistan, dreamt about it. It has got a military implication. Is it a scare? Or is it a guilty consciousness? Or is it something much beyond, which probably you were thinking that China will give you in CPAC and it didn't deliver? It is on record. I don't have to say anything or accuse you of anything, that the Chinese beat up your people in police stations and every place. They even beat up your local population, and now you find there were attacks on the Chinese who were working there. And then they said, okay, fine, we will put our own policing force in this complete area. I don't know. I don't know how you intend to gain from all this. Yes, you should. Maybe that you have that वो कौन सा वाला रूट जो एक आपने निकाला है जिसपे वो आप अपने वो zebras या खच्चर उनको export कर रहे हो for the good part of it. I don't know. Raja, we both need to sit down and talk about it. How the region gets benefited. I will give you one reason. Bangladesh got saved, kind courtesy India. Sri Lanka got saved, kind courtesy India. Pakistan, you have a hope to fall back to your own brother, India. India, India, India. Why? There's a reason. Because India is not looking to dominate on you, to dominate on China, to dominate on Bangladesh, to dominate on Sri Lanka. We want to keep even Nepal happy. We want to keep Bhutan happy. We want this growth and prosperity to come to all of us. And if for that, if we can have some good relations even with Western countries, I don't know why should you be so chary about it, that they were the way they were with you. They were with you good. You turned it bad. Your terrorism turned it bad. Your people went against you yourself when you start declaring in parliament what is what. When you start declaring that your Musharraf says terrorists के साथ हमारे ताल्लुक बड़े अपने हैं, अपनेपन के हैं. आपका प्राइम मिनिस्टर नवाज शरीफ बोलता है मेरे को फौज ने पीछे से छुरा मार दिया. इमरान खान को बोलता है that yes, the way the army has treated your country. You were supposed to be a exemplary Islamic democracy. You have unfortunately got into the web of only Islamic. You forgot the democracy. That is why you cannot find the wisdom which probably India finds it. That okay, we live with dignity. We live with dignity for our neighbors. I think that is the difference between you and us. That you will not understand AUKUS and Quad on a positive note. And I do try to take it on a positive note. It's for your good, my good. If tomorrow you need us, we are there. If the Western countries may boss around with you, we are there. I think let's take it on the positive side. Shravan.
Okay, Colonel, let me also bring it. Let me also bring it for us. For us, it's understandable that Islamabad is a little frustrated. Frustrated essentially being that how long can you be seen as perhaps a subordinate factor when it comes to the United States of America. You've seen how Kakkar himself had to defend in New York when he was there with regards to your ammunitions reaching the Ukrainian battlefield, which hasn't really gone down really well, with hoping that Russia would have supported you. So you do find yourself in a spot hoping that China would save you, but that's not really happened. If you really look at it in terms of the very time that you needed during the FATF2, or for that matter, when it comes to the recent crisis that the economic crisis that you really faced, in fact, even Russia was far more proactive in helping you out. China took their own sweet time. So that's a realization that you must actually have.
I mean, for a fact, Pakistan and China are great friends, strategically, diplomatically, globally. And Pakistan has always come to Chinese rescue, and Chinese have always come to Pakistan rescue with whatever global tensions have been there. But what I have to really elaborate over here is, there's bilateral, if I want to quantify a relationship between China-Pakistan relationship and China-India relationship, India and China had about $135 billion worth of trade in 2022. Pakistan was not near a fraction of that value. Now, we have to understand, I mean, I would disagree with whatever my colleague from Pakistan, Mr. Raja, said, is that, the world is moving forward in terms of economic trade. Prime Minister Kakkar said, if the world is engaging with India just because of its population, that's not the case, because he cited the African population, but he just forget it. He discounted how India is a great power, how India is a great economy, and that is why the world is engaging with them. India is, exporting huge manpower, huge expertise that China is also doing. That is one of the reasons that the world is engaging with India. What my Prime Minister Kakkar said was wholly solely to the local audience. The entire conversation that he had, the entire narrative that he had was solely to the local audience. It was not meant for the global audience at all. Because again, yes, there is a kind of frustration globally, because again, not all the countries are happy with wherever the blocs are going. Pakistan historically have been part of different blocs. India, on the contrary, has had a principal stance that it will go with non-alignment movement. However, recently, what we've seen is that India has been aligning with the Western powers, forgetting its historic NAM. Which was its fundamental idea.
So you've got it fundamentally for us. While you've been candid about the fact that that's the reality right now in Pakistan, that you're basically trying to at least appease your own domestic audience, but your former Prime Minister essentially spoke about how hollow your foreign policy has essentially been. But what you fundamentally got wrong when it comes to our non-aligned movement, we have essentially spoken about the strategic positioning of our country, where we are looking after our own national interest. And surprisingly, your caretaker Prime Minister has actually used the same very word while he spoke to a Western media outlet when he was in New York and Washington, where he essentially said that, look here, Pakistan has to really look out for itself. But is this how you really look out for yourself when you are basically, perhaps sitting on someone else's lap? But thank you very much for us, Raja, as well as Colonel Shailendra, for joining us on the Trending Burning Question. We're really running short of time. On the other side, the big debate coming up with Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, released recently, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
ये तोप के गोले हैं, जरा इनकी साइज देखिए और इन्हीं तोप के गोलों से हिजबुल्लाह के आतंकियों का इलाज किया जा रहा है। ये वो टैंक है जिसकी रेंज करीब 35 किलोमीटर है। ये मतो टैंक कहा जाता है और जिस तरफ आप बैरल का मुंह देख रहे हैं उस तरफ हिजबुल्लाह के आतंकवादी हैं। हम इस वक्त जिस इलाके में हैं यहाँ पर एक्टिव वॉर जोन है। यहाँ करीब 500 की तादाद में आर्टिलरी मैन तैनात किए गए हैं। ये मतो टैंक है जो हिजबुल्लाह के आतंकवादियों को चुन चुन कर उनका सफाया कर रहा है।
Parliament of the Hamas political bureau has been captured by the Israel Defense Forces. This comes on the 30th day of the war. Recovery of the arms and ammunition from the basement of Rantisi Hospital, which is the hospital of the children in the Gaza Strip, and that was occupied by the terrorists of Hamas, the underground tunnel system, the basement being used by the terrorists of Hamas, possibly to keep the hostages, as being said by the Israel Defense Forces. This speaks of the volumes that how the schools, the mosques, the kindergartens and also the hospitals are being used as their bases, the hideouts by the terrorists of Hamas, and now many of them has been busted.
रिपब्लिक आपको जंग के मैदान से वो तस्वीरें दिखाने और बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है जो अब से पहले आपने कभी नहीं देखी थी। ये पूरा इलाका छावनी में तब्दील हो चुका है। आर्मी की करीब 25,000 जो रिजर्व फोर्सेस हैं वो यहाँ पर हैं। गोलन हाइट्स का जो बॉर्डर है वो बमुश्किल 8 किलोमीटर है और इसीलिए ये एक्टिव वॉर फील्ड है। यहाँ पर बड़े हमले करने की तैयारी की जा रही है।
कांग्रेस वो पार्टी है जो निवेशकों को भगाती है।
क्या डर है आपको और किससे डरे हुए हैं जो आप कास्ट सेंसस नहीं करा रहे हैं?
आज 1 करोड़ नौजवान मध्य प्रदेश में बेरोजगार हैं।
किसानों के लिए जो काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने किया, कांग्रेस ने कभी किया था क्या?
राहुल गांधी को जो है ना पॉलिटिकल एमनीजिया की बीमारी है।
एक कांग्रेस पार्टी ना देश का विकास कर सकती है ना मध्य प्रदेश का।
पीछे गाजा बॉर्डर भी देख पा रहे हैं। जहां पर लगातार हमले तेज हो रहे हैं। आईडीएफ की तरफ से वीडियो जारी कर बताया गया है कि गाजा पट्टी में कैसे एक्शन में नजर आ रही है 400वीं ब्रिगेड, उसकी तस्वीर अब सामने आई है। आईडीएफ का ऑपरेशन लगातार एडवांस स्टेज में आता हुआ नजर आ रहा है।
चुनौतियां जहां गाजा सिटी से आगे बढ़ने की थी, अब वो चुनौतियां दोबारा वहीं सरहदी इलाकों पर आ गई हैं, क्योंकि हमास काफी ज्यादा चुनौती दे रहा है। हमास अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ है, ये बात जो है इजराइल भी जानता है और यही कारण है कि बार बार उनकी पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप ये कह रही है कि ये जंग लंबे समय तक चलेगी।
रिपब्लिक आपको जंग के मैदान से वो तस्वीरें दिखाने और बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है जो अब से पहले आपने कभी नहीं देखी थी। ये पूरा इलाका छावनी में तब्दील हो चुका है। आर्मी की करीब 25,000 जो रिजर्व फोर्सेस हैं वो यहाँ पर हैं। गोलन हाइट्स का जो बॉर्डर है वो बमुश्किल 8 किलोमीटर है और इसीलिए ये एक्टिव वॉर फील्ड है। यहाँ पर बड़े हमले करने की तैयारी की जा रही है।
Big battle for Hindi heartland. Will Modi factor work for BJP? Big semi-final to 2024 elections debating tonight at 9 p.m.
कांग्रेस वो पार्टी है जो निवेशकों को भगाती है।
क्या डर है आपको और किससे डरे हुए हैं जो आप कास्ट सेंसस नहीं करा रहे हैं?
आज 1 करोड़ नौजवान मध्य प्रदेश में बेरोजगार हैं।
किसानों के लिए जो काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने किया, कांग्रेस ने कभी किया था क्या?
राहुल गांधी को जो है ना पॉलिटिकल एमनीजिया की बीमारी है।
एक कांग्रेस पार्टी ना देश का विकास कर सकती है ना मध्य प्रदेश का।
From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.